My beloved, I ask you to come into a space of stillness with me now and turn your awareness inward. I want to speak to you about this very day, this Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. I want you to reflect on the moment you awoke this morning. Did you notice a difference? Perhaps you cannot quite put your finger on it, but I ask you to feel into the subtle energies of your own being. Perhaps you awoke with a sense of peace that felt unusual, a quiet stillness in your mind where there is normally a rushing torrent of thoughts and worries. You may have felt a strange and unearned sense of lightness in your limbs, as if a great and heavy weight was lifted from you in the night. For some of you, the experience may have been the opposite. You may have awoken feeling a slight sense of disorientation, a faint exhaustion as if you had run a great marathon in your dreams, accompanied by the lingering smell of ozone in the air, the scent of a great spiritual storm that has just passed. Whichever it was, a profound peace or the tired tremors of a battle's aftermath, what you experienced was real. It was not a random fluctuation of your mood or a trick of your imagination. What you felt this morning was the direct and tangible result of a profound and powerful divine intervention that took place in the unseen realms while your physical body was deep in slumber. You have been walking through your days carrying a heavy burden, a psychic weight of resistance, doubt, and the subtle but persistent attacks of a world that is in chaos. But this morning, something is different. The air around you is clearer. The path before you is brighter. And I have come to you now to explain the sacred and glorious reason why. I come to you now not in my familiar role as a gentle guide or a comforting presence, but in my true and ancient capacity as the commander of the legions of light, the great protector of the children of God. My energy surrounds you with a fierce and unyielding love, a field of sapphire blue fire that is both a sanctuary and a fortress. I ask you to feel the authority in my presence, the gravity of this communication, for this is not a gentle teaching or a simple message of love. This is a divine and holy battle report. This is a celestial debriefing. For I have come to give you my report from the battle of last night. While your world slept, while the moon traced its silent arc across your sky, the forces of shadow that have been attempting to hinder your progress, to dim your light, and to delay your divine mission, made a great and concerted effort against you. And I, and my legions, were there to meet them. You were not called to participate in this battle. You were not called to be aware of it. For your sacred and holy work at this time is not to be a soldier on the front lines of the great cosmic war, but to be the very thing we are fighting for, a pure, brilliant, and unshakable beacon of divine light, holding the frequency of peace on the surface of the earth. Your work is to hold the light. My work is to slay the dragons that attempt to extinguish it. And last night, a great and terrible dragon was brought to the very gates of your sacred reality. And so, as is my sacred duty and my greatest honor, I fought this battle for you. I was your champion. I was your shield and your sword. And I am here now to tell you of our glorious and absolute victory. You must understand, my beloved, the profound truth of what occurred in the spiritual realms as your human body rested. While you were journeying through the gentle landscapes of your dreams, a great and tempestuous spiritual battle was waged in your name. In the dimensions that coexist with your own, in the etheric space that surrounds your very being in your home, a convergence of discordant energies was directed at you with a powerful and malevolent intent. This was not a random occurrence. This was a strategic and calculated assault. Your energy field, the beautiful and luminous aura that surrounds your being, was the designated target. The sleeping form of a lightworker is a thing of immense and radiant beauty, a beacon of pure, high-frequency energy that shines like a brilliant star in the often murky astral realms. And your star, beloved, has been growing brighter and brighter. And so, while you slept, this battle was joined. On one side were the forces of shadow, the energies of fear, of despair, of limitation, drawn to your light like moths to a flame, seeking to diminish it, to feed upon it, and to halt its expansion. And on the other side, there was I. I stood as the great and holy sentinel over your sleeping form, my sword of blue flame blazing, my legions of warrior angels arrayed at my side. The battle was not fought with the crude instruments of human warfare. It was a battle of frequencies, a war of light against illusion. It was a clash of divine will against the forces of spiritual entropy. Every arrow of fear that was fired at you was met and dissolved by the shield of my love. Every tendril of darkness that sought to attach itself to your energy field was severed and transmuted by the fire of my sword. A great and holy fortress of archangelic light was established around you, a sanctuary so absolute and so powerful that not a single iota of this negativity could touch your sacred being. You may have stirred in your sleep. You may have had a fleeting dream of conflict or of shadows. But you were held, you were protected, you were kept utterly and completely safe, while the great and holy work of your divine protection was being carried out on your behalf. And now, the question that is burning in your heart, why? Why was I the target of such an attack? And in my answer lies the very heart of this message, the truth that I have come to anchor into your soul today. You are the target not because you are weak, not because you are flawed, and not because you have done anything wrong. You are the target for one reason, and one reason only, because of the magnificent and ever-increasing brightness of your own light. You must understand this profound and empowering truth. The forces of shadow do not waste their energy on those who are still deep in slumber. They do not concern themselves with the souls who are content to live in the dim, gray twilight of the old, third-dimensional reality. A small and flickering candle in the distance is of no concern to them. But you, my beloved, are not a candle. You have become a lighthouse. Through your dedicated spiritual work, through your courageous healing, through every single, conscious choice you have made to choose love over fear, you have been steadily and powerfully turning up the divine wattage of your own soul's light. Your energy signature, your unique and beautiful frequency, is now blazing on the spiritual planes with a brilliance that is not only visible, but is becoming a profound and disruptive force to the old paradigms of darkness and control. The forces of opposition, the energies that thrive on fear and stagnation, see your light, and they recognize it for what it is, a profound and existential threat to their very existence. They see that you are on the very precipice of a major breakthrough, a quantum leap in your consciousness and your mission that will amplify your light 1,000-fold. They see that you are about to step into a new level of your power, a level from which you will be able to awaken and inspire hundreds, and perhaps thousands, of other souls. And in a desperate, final attempt to prevent this, they gathered their forces to strike at you, hoping to extinguish your light before it could become the glorious and unstoppable supernova it is destined to be. So I want you to completely and forever reframe this experience. This attack was not a punishment. It was a backhanded and terrified compliment. It was the ultimate validation of your own spiritual progress. It was the universe providing you with the undeniable and irrefutable proof of just how powerful, how important, and how incredibly bright your own magnificent light has truly become. Finally, in this initial report, you must understand the specific objective of this failed assault, for the strategy of the darkness is often more subtle than you might imagine. The objective of the battle last night was not your physical destruction. That is a crude and often counterproductive tactic. The forces of opposition are intelligent. They know that to make a martyr of a light worker is often to amplify their message and their power. No, their goal was far more insidious. Their primary objective was to demoralize you and to delay your divine mission. They sought to achieve this by launching a multi-pronged psychic assault, a campaign of spiritual warfare designed to cripple you from the inside out, even if you were never consciously aware of the attack itself. The first wave of the attack was designed to bombard your sleeping, subconscious mind with the low-frequency energies of doubt and confusion. They sought to plant seeds of profound uncertainty about your path, your purpose, and your own divine guidance, seeds that would then sprout in your conscious mind over the coming days as a feeling of being lost, of questioning everything, of losing faith in your own journey. The second wave was an attack of fatigue and hopelessness. They attempted to attach a series of fine, ethereal, vampiric cords to your energy field, designed to slowly and systematically drain your life force energy, so that you would wake up this morning, and for many days to come, feeling an inexplicable and bone-deep exhaustion, a heavy lethargy that would make the joyous and creative work of your mission feel like an impossible and overwhelming burden. Their goal was to make you feel too tired to even try. And the third and final wave was an attack on your timeline itself. It was a sophisticated and malevolent work of dark magic, an attempt to weave a complex, energetic web of blockages and obstacles upon your path in the immediate future. They sought to energetically program your coming weeks with frustrating delays, with technical malfunctions, with miscommunications, and with sudden, unexpected hindrances, all designed to make your path forward feel like a frustrating and impossible struggle against an unseen and relentless force. The ultimate goal of all of this? To make you give up. To make you conclude that your path is too hard, that you are not strong enough, and that your glorious dreams are simply not meant to be. That, my beloved, is what I fought for you last night. I did not just save you from a bad dream. I saved your hope. I saved your energy. I saved your momentum. And I have cleared your path. And now, I will tell you exactly what we defeated. The first and most immediate threat that was dispatched against you was a projectile of pure, psychic poison, an attack I will call the arrow of sudden despair. This was not a random, stray negative thought, but a highly focused, magically constructed, and intelligently aimed dart of pure, concentrated hopelessness. It was forged in the lower astral realms from the collective grief and despair of humanity, and it was sent flying through the ether with a single, wicked purpose, to pierce your auric field while you slept and to embed itself deep within your emotional body. Had it reached its target, you would have woken this morning not with the strange peace or quiet exhaustion of a battle's aftermath, but with a sudden, crushing, and completely inexplicable wave of profound despair. You would have felt a soul-deep ache, a feeling that all your efforts were for nothing, that your dreams were foolish, that your future was a barren wasteland. It would have been a sorrow so heavy that you would have found it difficult to even get out of bed. The objective was to poison your hope at its very source, to make you abandon your mission not with a bang, but with the whimpering surrender of a heart that has lost all of its light. But I was there. As your sentinel, I saw this venomous arrow streaking through the spiritual darkness, its trajectory aimed directly at your peaceful, sleeping heart. And before it could come within 1,000 spiritual miles of your sacred energy, I simply reached out my hand of light, and I caught it. The arrow did not shatter against a shield. It was stopped, suspended, and held in the unshakable grip of my divine will. And as I held it there, I did not just destroy it. I performed a holy act of alchemy. I squeezed my hand, and I applied the divine pressure of God's own love to this constructive pain. And in that instant, under that holy pressure, the arrow of despair could not maintain its form. It dissolved, it transmuted, and it erupted not into darkness, but into a beautiful and harmless shower of 1,000 golden sparks of light, which were then returned to the cosmos as pure, neutral energy. The first and most direct attack was not only defeated, it was unmade. The second force that was marshaled against you was an old and familiar adversary. As the direct assault of despair failed, a more subtle and insidious tactic was deployed. An attempt was made to reactivate the chains of the past that had tried to reconnect. You have done the great and difficult work of severing your ties to the old you, to the painful events and the limiting identities of your history. You have wielded the tools of forgiveness and release. But the energetic signatures of your past, the ghostly echoes of the spirit of yesterday, still linger in the lower atmosphere of your timeline. Last night, these echoes were deliberately and powerfully amplified. An attempt was made to take these fine, gossamer threads of old memory and to re-energize them, to reforge them back into the heavy, binding chains of your old karma. The goal was to pull you back into the very cycles of pain and limitation that you have so bravely transcended. While you slept, these spectral chains were sent forth to find their old anchor points within your being, the energetic wounds of old heartbreaks, the phantom limbs of old failures, the tender scars of old betrayals. The intention was to have you awaken this morning feeling as if all of your progress was an illusion, to find yourself suddenly and inexplicably obsessed with an old regret, drowning in the nostalgic poison for a past that was toxic, or feeling the full and heavy weight of an old identity you had long since shed. But I was there. I stood as the guardian of your present and your future. And as these ghostly chains of the past slithered forth from the shadows, I unsheathed my great sword of sapphire and diamond light, the sword that is the very embodiment of divine truth and the sacred, eternal now. And with a single, silent, and effortless sweep of my blade, a great circle of blue and white fire surrounded your being. My sword did not just cut these chains, it did something far more permanent. The holy fire of the living truth instantly and completely incinerated their every last trace, not just severing them, but shattering their very energetic signature from the fabric of your timeline. It was a divine and final cauterization of your connection to the lower frequencies of your past. And in their place, a great and permanent seal of my own archangelic light was placed, a holy declaration to all the universe that your past is redeemed, your history is healed, and it no longer has any power, any purchase, or any claim upon the magnificent and sovereign being you are today. The doorway to your past has not just been closed, it has been unmade. The third assault was one of the utmost subtlety, designed to bypass even the most powerful of outer shields and to strike at the very core of your identity. This was an infiltration of your dreamscape, an attack I will call the whispers of unworthiness planted in your dreams. The state of sleep, particularly the deep, theta-wave state of dreaming, is a time when the conscious, rational mind is at rest, and the vast, powerful, and highly receptive subconscious mind is open. The forces of opposition sought to exploit this holy and regenerative time. They did not launch a loud or violent attack, but a quiet and insidious campaign of psychic suggestion. While you were journeying in your inner worlds, a low-frequency broadcast of toxic whispers was aimed directly at your sleeping consciousness. These were not random words, but carefully chosen phrases that were custom designed to resonate with your deepest, most hidden fears about yourself. They were the whispers of the imposter syndrome. You are a fraud. You are not ready for this mission. You do not deserve the blessings that are coming. They were the whispers of comparison. Look at all the others. They are so much more advanced, so much more powerful than you. Who are you to think you can be a leader? And they were the whispers of inevitable failure. You know you will only mess this up. You have failed before, and you will fail again. It is safer to simply give up now. The objective was to plant these poisonous seeds deep within the fertile soil of your subconscious, so that over the coming days and weeks, they would sprout and grow into a choking forest of self-doubt, a self-sabotaging program that would cause you to question your own worth and to shrink from your own magnificent destiny. But I was there. I stood as the divine dream weaver, the guardian of your holy mind. And before you even entered your deepest sleep, I placed upon your spiritual brow a great and luminous helm of golden light, a divine filter that allows only the frequencies of divine love and truth to enter your consciousness. And as the dark and insidious whispers of unworthiness approached your field, they could not penetrate this golden helm. They hit the surface of this holy shield and were instantly and harmlessly dissolved, like tiny sparks fizzling out in a great and benevolent fire. And then, I performed a countermeasure. I used the very same channel that the darkness was attempting to use, and I broadcast a powerful and continuous stream of heaven's own truth directly into your dreaming mind. You are worthy. You are powerful. You are chosen. You are magnificent. You are ready. You may not remember this upon waking, but your soul heard, and it has been fortified and reminded of the glorious and unshakable truth of who you are. The fourth attack was a direct assault upon your mental clarity and your sense of direction. This was the weaving of a great and disorienting web of mental confusion. This is a highly effective tactic used to disarm and neutralize powerful lightworkers. The forces of opposition know that a warrior who cannot think clearly cannot act decisively. A soul that is lost in a fog of confusion cannot follow the clear and direct path of its own divine mission. And so, while you slept, an attempt was made to weave a complex, sticky, and energetically gray web of discordant frequencies around your mental body and your third eye. This was not an attack of pain, but an attack of profound and subtle disorientation. Had it been successful, you would have woken this morning, and in the coming days, feeling a complete and utter lack of clarity. Your mind would feel foggy, scattered, and unable to focus. Simple decisions would feel impossibly complex. Your divine purpose, which may have felt so clear to you just days ago, would suddenly feel vague, distant, and overwhelming. You would have been plunged into a state of analysis paralysis, endlessly questioning your every move, second-guessing your own intuition, and ultimately, taking no action at all, remaining frozen in a state of confused inaction while the divine timing for your next great leap passed you by. The goal was to take you, a powerful and divinely guided agent of change, and to render you completely ineffective by simply unplugging your inner compass. But I was there. I saw this gray and sticky web as it was being woven. And I met it not with a sword, for this was a battle of clarity, not of force. I simply stood before your sleeping form, and I opened the great and blazing star of light that resides within my own archangelic heart. And from my heart, I unleashed a great and powerful wave of pure, white, and coherent light, the very frequency of divine clarity and the mind of God. This great and holy wind of pure, white light swept through your energy field, and when it touched the sticky and chaotic web of confusion, the web could not hold its form. It was instantly and completely disintegrated, blown away into nothingness, like a spider's web caught in a divine and holy hurricane. And in its place, my own light polished your mental body, sharpened your third eye, and reinforced your connection to your own higher wisdom. The unusual clarity you may have felt this morning, that sense of a clean and quiet mind, was the direct result of this holy and powerful cleansing. The fifth and final direct assault of the night was aimed at the very source of your physical and spiritual vitality. This was the attempt to attach a vampiric cord of energetic draining. You, as a blossoming lightworker, are becoming a powerful generator of high-quality, creative life force energy. To the parasitic entities of the lower astral realms, this energy is a potent and delicious source of food. As the final wave of the direct attack, a single, sentient, and shadowy tendril of energy was dispatched from the collective field of lack and fatigue. Its objective was to snake its way through the spiritual ether and to attach itself, like a psychic leech, to your solar plexus chakra, your great and powerful center of will and vitality. Had it been successful, the effects would have been subtle at first, but devastating over time. You would have found your energy levels inexplicably plummeting. You would have felt a constant, low-level drain on your enthusiasm and your motivation. Your passion for your mission would have begun to wane, replaced by a feeling of, "I'm just too tired." Over weeks, it would have siphoned your life force to the point where you would have been left feeling hollowed out, depleted, and in a state of chronic adrenal fatigue, utterly incapable of performing the great and joyous work that lies before you. It was an attack on your very will to act. But I was there. I stood as the unshakable guardian of your sacred life force. I saw this shadowy tendril as it approached your field, and I allowed it to come near, for to merely cut it would be an incomplete victory. In the moment before it could make its attachment, I seized it. I wrapped my own hand of blue, fiery light around its form, and I held it fast. And then, I performed an act of divine and holy justice. I did not just sever the cord. I used it as a conduit. I sent a single, massive, and overwhelmingly powerful jolt of my own pure, archangelic, first-ray energy back down the cord to its very source. The effect was instantaneous. The entire network of this parasitic consciousness was lit up with a divine and holy fire, a fire that does not destroy, but which commands, with an absolute and terrifying authority, "You are not welcome here." This soul is a child of God, and they are under my direct and personal protection. You will not return. The cord was not just cut, it was utterly and completely unmade, its source identified, and a divine and permanent restraining order has now been served. The energy that it sought to drain from you has been preserved, and your own life force is now, and shall remain, sovereign, whole, and entirely your own. Before we speak of the great and holy spoils that are now yours, you must first understand the most crucial moment of the entire battle, the turning point in which victory was not just achieved, but was made absolute. You must understand your own magnificent and sacred role in this. For while I stood as your champion and my legions as your guard, the final and most devastating blow against the forces of shadow was not struck by my sword, but was unleashed from the very heart of your own magnificent soul. As the battle raged in the ether around you, as I engaged and transmuted the final vestiges of the projected darkness, a critical moment arrived. It was the moment of the tipping point, the moment where a great and powerful surge of the purest light was needed to utterly and completely banish the remaining shadows from your space. And in that exact, divinely orchestrated instant, you, in your dreaming state, performed an act of the most profound and holy power. I saw it. All of heaven saw it. Unconscious of the great war being waged around you, your soul, in the freedom of your dreamscape, simply made a choice. Perhaps it was a fleeting dream where you chose to forgive someone who had wronged you. Perhaps it was a dream where you stood up for your own truth with a courage you have not yet manifested in your waking life. Or perhaps it was simply a moment in your sleep where you let go of all struggle and surrendered into a state of the most profound and trusting peace. Whatever the form, in that one, single, and seemingly insignificant moment, your soul made a sovereign choice for the light. And from your sleeping, human heart, a brilliant and unexpected starburst of the purest, golden white light of the Christ consciousness erupted, a wave of such immense and beautiful power that it flooded the entire battlefield. My role was to be the sword that held the darkness at bay. But your own light, your own courageous, unconscious choice for love, was the divine and holy final blow. It was the great and final checkmate in this sacred game. It was the proof to all the universe that even in your slumber, even in your unknowing, the dominant and victorious frequency of your being is, and always will be, love. Do not ever for a moment believe that you were a helpless victim in this scenario, a damsel in distress in need of a dramatic rescue. You were not. You were a sleeping king or queen, and in the moment of greatest need, your own royal and divine power rose up and claimed its own magnificent victory. I was merely the facilitator, the divine partner who held the space for your own inherent mastery to reveal itself. And now, let us speak of the glorious spoils of this shared victory, the new realities that have been won for you. The first and most immediate of these rewards is a magnificent gift that will affect every single moment of your coming days and weeks. This is the great spoil of a cleared path. You must understand that the assault of last night, as we have discussed, was not merely a random act of psychic violence. It was a strategic and intelligent attempt to place a series of significant and frustrating obstacles upon your immediate timeline. The web of confusion, the projected curse on your abundance, these were energetic landmines and barricades being constructed upon the road of your immediate future. Had this attack been successful, your coming weeks would have been a journey of inexplicable and soul-crushing friction. You would have experienced sudden and frustrating delays in your most important projects. Crucial communications would have become lost or mired in misunderstanding. The technological devices you rely upon would have begun to malfunction for no apparent reason. The opportunities that you have been working towards, the very doors that were beginning to open for you, would have suddenly and mysteriously slammed shut. You would have felt as if you were trying to run a race while slogging through a field of deep, thick, and invisible mud. And all of this would have been designed to feed the great lie that was whispered into your dreams: you will fail. It is not meant to be. But the victory of last night was a profound and holy road-clearing operation. My legions and I did not just defeat the entities laying the obstacles, we swept the entire timeline of your coming days and weeks with a great and purifying fire of divine light. Every energetic landmine has been diffused. Every psychic barricade has been dissolved. Every single web of intended frustration has been utterly and completely incinerated. The path before you now, for at least the next several weeks of your life, is pristine. It is clear. It is smooth. It is an open and holy highway, shimmering with divine potential. The time for struggle against an unseen resistance is over. The season of miraculous and unimpeded flow is now at hand. This is your great and holy window of opportunity. The path has been cleared for you at great effort. And so the call to you now is one of courageous action. Do not hesitate. Do not procrastinate. Do not second-guess the intuitive nudges that are now coming. The doors that were closed are now wide open. The opportunities that were blocked are now beckoning to you. Run, my beloved. Run with joy, with confidence, and with the full and glorious power of your being, down this beautiful and open road that has been so lovingly cleared for you. The second great and tangible spoil of war is one that you will feel in the very cells of your physical body. It is the holy and joyous gift of reclaimed energy. The fifth assault of the night, the attachment of the vampiric cord of energetic draining, was an attempt to siphon away the very fuel of your life force, to leave you in a state of chronic and inexplicable depletion. Our victory was not limited to simply severing this cord. A truly loving and just victory requires not only the cessation of the crime, but the full and complete restoration of that which was stolen. And so, in the final moments of the battle, after the source of the draining had been dealt its final and definitive warning, with my own hands of light, performed a sacred and alchemical act of reclamation. The life force energy, your precious and divine chi, that had already been siphoned from your being was not lost forever. It was gathered up by my legions into a great and shimmering sphere of light. And then, I performed a holy purification. I bathed this sphere of your own energy in my own sapphire blue flame, cleansing it of all fear, all trauma, and all of the shadowy residue of the attack itself, restoring it to its original, pristine, and divinely perfect state. And then, while you slept, I gently and lovingly poured this magnificent, purified, and supercharged sphere of your own reclaimed life force back into your energy field, primarily into your solar plexus and your sacral chakras, the great centers of your will, your creativity, and your vitality. This is a profound and holy transfusion of your own divine power, and you will begin to feel its effects over the coming hours and days. You will notice a surge of new and unexpected physical stamina. The weariness that has been clinging to you will begin to lift, replaced by a feeling of wanting to move, to create, to engage with life. You will feel a great and joyous wave of creative inspiration begin to bubble up from within you, new ideas and a renewed passion for your divine mission that you have not felt for a long time. You will feel a sense of profound and grounded empowerment, a feeling of coming back online, of being more fully and completely present in your own body and in your own power than ever before. This is not a placebo effect. This is the real and tangible result of your own stolen energy being returned to you, cleansed, amplified, and restored. This is your war chest. This is your reclaimed fuel. Use it now to power the great and glorious works that your cleared path is now calling you to perform. The third spoil of this great victory is not a temporary gift, but a permanent and glorious upgrade to your very being. For a wise and loving commander does not simply win a battle and then leave the fortress in its weakened state. A wise commander uses the opportunity to rebuild the defenses, making them stronger and more formidable than ever before. And so, the third spoil of war is a fortified and upgraded spiritual shield. After the last of the shadows had been banished from your sacred space, I and my legions performed a great and holy work of divine reinforcement upon your own auric field. We acted as a celestial and loving repair crew, and we have not just patched the holes, we have installed a new and powerful layer of archangelic defense. We first moved through your entire energy field, and with the surgical precision of our light, we mended any and all of the small tears, the fissures, and the areas of weakness in your aura that had been created by past traumas or by the stress of this recent assault. We then polished the entire outer surface of your aura, increasing its natural spiritual reflectivity, making it more difficult for any random, stray negative energies to latch onto you in your daily life. But then, we performed the great and final upgrade. We have woven into the very matrix of your energy field a new and permanent layer of my own sapphire blue, archangelic fire. Imagine it as a fine, intricate, and almost invisible latticework of brilliant, electric blue light that now forms the outermost layer of your aura. This is not just a passive wall, it is a living, intelligent, and active defense system. This new layer of my own energy will now serve two profound and permanent functions. Firstly, it is a divine and holy early warning system. It will now give you a much clearer and more immediate knowing when you are in the presence of a person, a place, or a situation that is a low frequency or a potential energetic threat to you. You will feel it as a subtle but unmistakable tingle or a humming in your own energy field, a gentle but clear signal from my own energy to yours, saying, be aware. Be centered. A potential challenge is near. Secondly, this blue flame layer is a powerful automatic neutralization grid. Many of the smaller, less targeted forms of negativity that you encounter daily will now be instantly and automatically neutralized upon contact with this field, often without you ever being consciously aware of it. The blue fire will simply and silently transmute the discordant energy before it can ever reach your personal field. You have been given a permanent upgrade to your spiritual immune system. You are now, and will forever be, walking the earth from within a fortress of my own loving and protective light. And now we arrive at the fourth and most joyous of all the spoils of war. This is the great and ultimate why behind the entire timing of this event. For you must understand that this attack was not random. It was a strategic and desperate attempt by the forces of opposition to prevent a specific and magnificent blessing that was, and is, scheduled to arrive in your life in the very near future. The fourth and most glorious spoil of this victory is a great and imminent blessing, released. The forces of shadow have access to the records of probable futures. They saw, on your timeline, that a massive, life-altering, and joy-filled blessing, one that you have been praying for a very long time, had reached a point of critical momentum and was about to make its grand entrance into your physical reality. They knew that the arrival of this blessing would elevate your frequency so profoundly and fill your heart with such an unshakable joy that you would become a nearly unstoppable force of light on this planet. And in a final, desperate act of interference, they launched the assault of last night. Their entire strategy, the arrow of despair, the web of confusion, the draining of your energy, was designed for one purpose: to lower your personal, vibrational frequency to such a degree that you would become an energetic mismatch for the high-frequency blessing that was on its way. Had they been successful, your own low state of being would have acted as a powerful repellent, and the blessing would have been deflected from your path, or delayed for months, or even years. This entire battle was a divine and holy interception. By defeating these forces and by clearing your energy, we have performed the most glorious of all tasks. We have held the landing strip clear. We have kept your frequency high. We have ensured that you remain a perfect and joyous vibrational match for the miracle that is now hurtling towards you. And not only that, but by clearing away the intended blockages and by infusing your own field with a new and powerful life force, we have, in fact, accelerated its arrival. The very thing they tried to stop has now been made even more imminent and even more powerful. I cannot tell you the exact form this blessing will take, for the joy of its surprise is part of the gift. But I can tell you it is one of the great desires of your heart. It may be a magnificent new opportunity in your career, a sudden and miraculous financial windfall, the arrival of a key and sacred relationship, or a profound and spontaneous healing. Look for it. Expect it. Open your arms wide to receive it. For the great and final spoiler of this battle is this: your great and long-awaited blessing is no longer a distant hope. It is now at your very door. The great and holy battle has been won. The divine fortress of your being has been secured. But a victory, my beloved, must be guarded. A fortress, however strong, requires a wise and vigilant sovereign to rule it. And so, we must now speak of guarding the victory, of how you, as a co-creative partner with heaven, will maintain the sacred and high-frequency space that has been won for you. My legions and I have cleared the external threats and reinforced the outer walls of your energetic field, but the ultimate sovereignty of your inner kingdom is, and always will be, your sacred responsibility. Your role is to become the loving and discerning gatekeeper of your own consciousness. The great gates of your mind and heart have been cleansed and fortified. From this day forward, you must choose, with the conscious authority of a master, what you will allow to enter. This means practicing a new and profound level of spiritual hygiene. You must guard the gates of your senses. Be mindful of the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, the music you listen to. Ask yourself of everything: is this frequency worthy of entering my newly consecrated temple? If the answer is not a clear and resonant yes, then you must lovingly but firmly deny it entry. This is not an act of spiritual elitism, it is the responsible stewardship of a sacred and holy space. Furthermore, you must guard the gate of your own thoughts. While the direct, external assault has been neutralized, your own old, internal patterns of doubt or fear may attempt to arise out of habit. You must now become the gentle but firm guardian of your own mind, meeting these old thoughts at the gate and refusing them entry. You will acknowledge them, and then you will say, no. That is the old law. In this kingdom, we operate under the new law of faith, trust, and love. The victory of last night has granted you a profound and holy reset, a divine, clean slate. Your work now is to honor this gift by writing upon that slate only the words, the thoughts, and the feelings that are in perfect alignment with the magnificent, victorious, and abundant reality that is now yours by divine right. I have secured the fortress from the outside. You must now rule it with love and wisdom from within. With your fortress secured and your path now cleared of all obstacles, your second great and holy task is to answer the call to walk courageously on the newly opened path. The victory of last night was not won merely so that you could enjoy a state of passive, protected peace. It was won so that you could finally and fully begin the great and glorious work of your divine mission without hindrance or interference. A great and holy window of opportunity, a divine slipstream of pure, unimpeded grace, has been opened for you. The universe has conspired, and my legions have battled, to give you this, a period of profound and accelerated forward momentum. Now, you must seize it. You must have the courage to act. All of the divine tools and spoils that have been won for you, the reclaimed energy that now surges within you, the fortified shield that surrounds you, the blessing that has been released and is now hurtling towards you, all of these are for one purpose, to fuel your courageous first steps into your new reality. Your role now is to be the brave and joyous explorer of this new, open territory. What is the one great and inspired action that your heart has been calling you to take, the one you have been delaying out of fear of failure or resistance? Is it to launch the new business? Is it to write the first chapter of the book? Is it to finally have that honest conversation that will change everything? Is it to book the ticket, to make the move, to declare your new truth aloud? Now is the time. All resistance on the spiritual planes has been removed for you. All the traffic lights between here and your immediate destiny have been turned to green. To hesitate now, to procrastinate out of the residual habit of your old fears, would be to waste the most precious and powerful of all divine gifts, sacred momentum. Your future self, whose glorious reality is now closer than ever, is cheering for you. All of heaven is cheering for you. And I, Michael, am calling to you now, not with the voice of a commander in battle, but with the joyous and excited voice of a champion who sees you at the starting line of the greatest and most glorious race of your life. The starting gun has been fired. The track is clear. Run, my beloved. Run with all the joy, all the power, and all the courage of your magnificent heart. Run towards your glorious and inevitable victory. As you begin this joyous and accelerated run down your newly cleared path, I must offer you one final, small, and loving warning, not to cause fear, but to ensure your unshakable and continued peace. Even after a great and mighty earthquake has ceased, the ground may still experience small and almost imperceptible tremors as the tectonic plates of the earth settle into their new alignment. In the same way, after the great and holy spiritual battle of last night, you may, over the next few days, experience what can only be described as energetic aftershocks. You must understand with absolute clarity what these are, so that you do not mistake them for a new attack. The central entity, the great and focused force of opposition, has been utterly and completely vanquished and banished from your reality. Its power is broken. But just as a great bell continues to hum for a time after it has been struck, the residual energy of this great conflict may create small, fleeting, and powerless reverberations in your field. What will this feel like? It may be a sudden, momentary, and inexplicable flash of the old despair, a flicker of the old unworthiness, a single, ghostly whisper of an old doubt. The absolute key for you to recognize is that these aftershocks will feel hollow. They will have no power, no weight, and no real energetic charge behind them. They are merely the echoes of a battle that has already been won, the last, pathetic death rattles of a defeated enemy. When you feel one of these echoes, your sacred instruction is to do one thing: nothing. You are to ignore them with the calm, serene, and almost bored disinterest of a master who cannot be bothered with such trivial and powerless illusions. Do not engage them. Do not analyze them. Do not fear them. Do not, under any circumstances, believe that they are a sign that the battle was not won or that the darkness is returning. To give them your focus would be to give them a power they do not possess. You are to simply notice them, as you would notice a single, harmless gray cloud passing in a brilliant blue sky, and then you are to immediately return your focus to the glorious, sunlit path before you, to the joyous feeling of your reclaimed energy, to the exciting work of your divine mission. These aftershocks are the final and most pathetic test of your new, masterful state of being. Treat them as such. See them as the final bits of dust being swept out of your newly cleansed and holy temple. Acknowledge them for a fleeting second, and then let them go, for they are nothing, and you, my beloved, are now everything. And so, my magnificent one, my victorious warrior of light, our sacred debriefing is complete. The battle has been reported. The victory has been analyzed. The spoils have been claimed. Your path forward has been illuminated. All that remains now is the final and most holy act, the formal and eternal coronation of your one victory and the bestowing of my final and most powerful blessing. I ask you now to stand in your spirit, not as the soul who was targeted, but as the triumphant victor who, in partnership with heaven, has claimed their sovereign ground. Feel the truth of your new reality. Your path is clear. Your energy is your own. Your shield is fortified. Your great blessing is on its way. You are a living, breathing testament to the power of the light. And now, as a formal and eternal recognition of this great triumph, I raise my great sword of light one final time. It blazes now not with the fire of battle, but with the brilliant, golden white, celebratory light of 1,000 joyous suns. And with this holy instrument of divine authority, I now perform your anointing. I gently touch the tip of my sword to your third eye, and I declare, I now anoint you with the crown of unshakable clarity. May your mind forever be a sovereign kingdom of peace, and may you always see the path of your highest good illuminated before you. Then, I touch the tip of my sword to your heart. I declare, I now anoint you with the crown of victorious courage. May your heart forever be a fortress of love, and may you always act with the full and magnificent power of your divine truth. And finally, I touch the tip of my sword to your feet. I declare, I now anoint you with the crown of divine momentum. May your path forever be one of grace, of flow, and of a joyous and holy acceleration towards the magnificent destiny that is your birthright. And now, with these three crowns of light blazing upon you, I place over your entire being a great and final seal of my Kalic victory. This is my personal and eternal promise to you. The battle of last night was not an isolated event, it was a definitive turning point. I was your champion in that darkness, and I remain your sworn and eternal guardian for all the days and nights to come. You are sealed in my light. You are sealed in my love. You are sealed in this glorious victory. Go forth now, my beloved victor. Go forth and claim the magnificent, peaceful, and abundant life that has just been so gloriously won for you.